everyone here except for Tom Palka, who will join us a little later. And Eric will not attend, so I think we have 9 presently. Did everyone get the minutes that Karen sent out on the 2 previous meetings, the February 10th and March 2nd?
You know, Rick, I gotta tell you, I keep looking and I can't find them.
No, I know. I mean, I sent them
I've
to
gone
you.
through, I've done a search with Karen and I can't find any minutes, so I'll still approve them.
Well, it's on there for, I sent them yesterday at 12:03 PM and your email at jmcgannon@msn.com.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going
So Karen, perhaps you could send that again to him.
Okay.
on.
Does anyone have any questions or comments that those of us that did get them? None? Can I entertain a motion to accept the minutes as submitted?
Rick, I'd entertain a motion to accept the whole consent agenda to speed
Right.
things up.
That's what we should do.
I'd like to talk about I'd like to give Pam a little time with the treasury report before we, why don't we just do the minutes at this point? Does that sound acceptable? If
Yeah.
Pam, to cover anything on the treasury report before we accept your latest report? Any comments, questions on treasury report, the last one?
I'd like to say that I was very impressed with our net balance there. That's
Yeah.
nice. Everybody keep in mind that 20,000 of that is from the bequest, and that's pretty well targeted for anything stream conservation restoration required. And then there's probably another 5,000 or 6,000 that's been targeted for youth education or the ELC site. But that leaves quite a bit of money. We seem to pretty much finance whatever we wanted to here and put the fundraising off like we decided till fall. See if we really need to do it. But I liked all the numbers. That's my comment.
Okay, any other treasury comments?
Pam, did you mark that money that Keith just mentioned for the ELC as encumbered in some account?
I have not, Gene.
It's supposed to be in funds for grants, Pam? Isn't there a funds for grants category?
Well, yeah, Keith, as you and I have discussed in a call, I think those dollars are still there. I was looking at your Embrace the Stream grant filing to CTU. And I see where the dollars, the Embrace the Stream and the Golmachek grant are in our accounts. I just don't see them going out of our accounts in payment for anything.
So is that the
So-
money that you say is in there, Keith? If the money's still there,
The
Well,
money
Jerry
in-
set up, at my request, Jerry and I formulated account name as funds for grants to take the money that we essentially got from the large donors, in that marketing campaign. And most of them said, we're impressed with education. We'd like to make sure some of this goes for education. That included Walmart and High Country Bank and those, and there should be a category described as funds for grants. Was my understanding.
There is an account called Funds for Grants. It does have some of the early dollars, the Embrace the Stream, your last Golmachek grant of 1,500. But the funds you're thinking of, Keith, that were raised in 2019 went out in 2019 to CCC. We paid out $8,000 that year.
Okay,
But so I think the funds you're thinking about were applied correctly to the ELC. To answer Gene's question and my question, I have been trying to look at dollars in, dollars out in the accounts. I thought it was going to be pretty easy. But again, I don't see Embrace the Stream dollars going out of the accounts. The 2,700. I don't see the second grant, 1,500 going out of the accounts.
Well, that means we
So-
still have the money, so what's the problem? If you said the money is gone and we don't know where it went, then I'd be excited. But what you're saying is we have this money in the account and it may be the money that Keith is saying was supposed to be allocated to ELC. I don't know.
So the
Well,
question,
I would say that the accounts still have that $4,200 for
Okay,
those two
so-
grants.
Well, the $20,000 bequest was put in the cold water fund.
yeah,
Yes, that's
we
correct.
know about that.
Is there money that coming out of the cold water fund that
There was,
matches those amounts?
in your Embrace the Stream grant form that you sent me, Keith, your final reporting,
Right?
we did take out $3,600 out of the cold water fund. But again, that was part of the 8,000 we paid in 2019.
so it sounds like monies that should have come from Embrace a Stream to pay for Keith's, whatever he did with the Embrace a Stream grant, for some reason came out of the cold water fund.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the Embrace the Stream dollars are still in the account and it's in the funds for grant account.
But what
Nothing-
was this grant for? What was this Embrace a Stream grant for, Keith?
It was for the South Arkansas work. That's the
And so has
stream.
that bill been paid?
Yeah, I thought it was. I mean, no, I've been working closely with Central Colorado Conservancy. We're partners in this project. Buffy's doing, once again, she's a paid employee, so she's doing all the legwork and footwork and bookkeeping and so on. And I know we sent them a check for, I don't know these exact amounts. I just tell Jerry and he sends it. It was about $5,000 that we have paid to probably Central Colorado Conservancy. I don't know who else it would have been written to, but I didn't issue the checks. I just spent the money.
Right, right. And that's what I've been looking for, knowing that everything for the ELC went through CCC. Because they ordered the study and they're handling that grant. Was the grant for the study, Keith?
The grant was for the recently completed study.
But
Okay.
is that related to the ELC? I mean, it's related, but it's not part of the monies for the ELC, is it?
Well, it's all the same project to me now, Karen. There's no differentiation. We started out with ELC and tried to turn that into a site. First step was to enhance, work on the river. Well, you can't work on 450 lineal feet of river. You have to have a bigger chunk. So we went to the confluence. That's the 1.2 mile section. That's all part of the South Arkansas Restoration ELC project. The ELC project now looks like has the potential for expanding onto the Vanderveer Ranch, which is the city property, but use part of that as our study, which we've actually done. We cross the bridge and do fish shocking over there. So I don't want to have a bright line between ELC and the South Arkansas conservation. It's the same thing.
Well, Pam and the rest of us need to be aware of that, I guess. I saw the ELC is a little bit different than the stream restoration study, but we just need to get it straight for our accounting. So we,
Yeah, and if there's money set aside for some project, that needs to be noted as an encumbrance. And Pam and I have discussed encumbrances, but then we would know that, okay, we have $25,000 in this account, but 20,000 is already allocated to some project, then we only really have 5,000. So it makes a difference how we look at our accounts.
Well, I would agree with that. So I would ask the question now. Several years ago, the board approved up to 20,000, no, 20. Okay, I'm gonna have to look at my numbers, but they approved some amount to come out of the cold water fund for the ELC and the South Arc. We spent, it was 15,000. It was 15,000. Board approved out of the cold water fund if it was needed, of which we spent, let's say, $3,000. So Jean, do you want to show that 17,000 or 12,000 as an encumbrance? on the
Well, that
cold
would
water fund?
be a reasonable way to look at it.
I can do
If
that.
the board already approved it and we didn't do anything to disapprove it, that means that there's $12,000 left to spend on this project without the board voting on it. So, again,
Although, isn't that an encumbrance? Doesn't that mean that that's designated just for that?
yes.
And from what Pam said, that amount of money was designated, quote, if needed. So if it wasn't needed, hasn't it been unencumbered?
Well,
Good question.
I think we need to
Sorry, this
decide
is
that.
not my forte.
No, I agree with Gene. Encumbrances should be a separate category of our budget so we know what it's scheduled for. And if it's never, haven't been spent by the end of the year, then you reallocate it.
Yeah, we
Well, I
never
think-
voted on any kind of sunset clause.
Yeah, ELC could take a long time before funds are needed.
Already taken 7 years. I don't think we have really any true encumbrances right now. I think the $20,000 was given under the condition that would be spent on water conservation or restoration projects. I don't think we have one defined now. What I'd like to save that 20,000 or assume we were going to do is use that as matching funds. I mean, that's what we did for the South Arkansas study. That was a $22,000 project. And the loan required a pretty hefty, the grant from CWCB required a pretty substantial match. So we had money and put it in as the match to get us up to 22,000. I don't know how to spend that $20,000 in the cold water fund yet. I don't think we should say that is encumbered because I think we need more flexibility in how that is spent. And, my goal would be to use it for seed money. That's always the best way to leverage our money, is to put it towards a grant.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about that 20,000 that we got from the family. It's the other money that I'm not
12,000.
sure if any of that's encumbered.
Well, the liability number that you're seeing here of the $2,000, that is what we also approved to give to Dana Mosca for the Arkansas River Resiliency Plan. We approved up to 2,000 for that. So that is an existing encumbrance liability. We're calling it a liability here. It's not an encumbrance on any particular account, Gene. We could fund it out of the operating account. We could fund it out of funds for grants if we wanted to. We could fund it out of Coldwater if we felt the need, but
Well, see, that's a different situation then. You know, what a true encumbrance would be is, okay, if we had somebody donate money to a specific cause and it went into some fund, we would need to mark that as encumbered for that particular cause
right,
or project. So
right.
maybe we don't have any encumbrances and all the money
Doesn't
that
sound like
shows up in that account is money that we could allocate. So maybe if we're unsure, we should give everybody a notice that you have a week to prove that some of that money is encumbered for something. And if we don't hear, then it's unencumbered,
That's a good suggestion.
since we don't seem to know.
I'm
Keith,
good with that.
are you comfortable with that? Because I would think that your South Arc ELC, I thought there was some money set aside for that, but you would know.
Well, we've spent money on South Arc ELC.
Okay,
The output for that was the report that was just recently published. That was a morph from the original concepts and where we were to today in order to make things work. I think I agree with your statement you just made a few minutes ago. I don't think we have any encumbrances right now.
Okay.
That liability to me is equivalent, a liability or an encumbrance. That money's been tagged for a certain purpose.
yeah, I don't care what you call it.
Yeah, I don't think we have any other of those. Now, Pam and Jerry would be better apt to answer those correctly, but I don't believe we do. And I guess I wouldn't be promoting encumbrances right now because I want an open book for what may happen in the future.
Okay,
My only
sounds settled.
question-
Oh, no?
So my question is, A, what I got from Pam was just a checking account thing, and it didn't have anything about what's in what accounts, cold water, all that stuff. Maybe I missed it. But
What,
if the money from Embraces Stream was to go for this South Arkansas Restoration Program, there should not be any money left in the Embraces Stream count if that bill has been paid, correct? So we need to check and
That-
find out what's been sent to Central Colorado Conservancy for that project, and we might have to move money around it. You know, this is not my
Well-
forte, so
right, right. And I have spent hours
I bet.
trying to determine, and we have very good records. We have very good records.
Yeah.
We have a correspondence file from Jerry that he shares with me on when he transfers or sends a check out for some reason. Again, the Embrace the Stream grant of $2,700 we got in 2016. And have just done a final reporting of it in Keith's River report to CTU in 2021. So,
Well, that doesn't make any sense to me.
well.
I don't know what project would be unless it was, the first phases of the South Arkansas restoration, which we did contribute cash to CCC for that. And that's been done for about that long, but it doesn't have anything to do with the ELC on down site.
Well, again, all I'm looking at is Embrace the Screen, $2,700 received in 2016. I never see it leave the account that I can identify as those monies.
Okay,
It
it
didn't
sounds
until the
like
middle
what
of last-
happened. It sounds like what happened is we paid the bill, but it didn't come out of the Embrace the Stream account,
Right.
so that money's still there. So we're probably the only ones that are aware of that. The Embrace the Stream people are happy that we spent their money. So all we need to do is transfer that money to the appropriate account. and that Embrace the Stream money that shows up in your balance sheet will disappear.
Would we put that in the cold water account?
I think
would,
so.
I would not recommend that. We have an account called Funds for Grants. And in my working with Jerry, the purpose of that account was to hold grant monies that we receive, and also to have
Pay the
funds,
bills, for doing the grant.
you would hope.
So it sounds like we paid the bill, but not out of that specific money.
If we paid the bill, I can't say it was paid with Embrace a Stream dollars.
Well, it probably wasn't. That's why the money's still there.
Right.
But
So
what I'm
can you go
saying
back-
is, we're the only ones who know that, and it's probably a mistake. So I would make a motion that we adjust it internally and not call in the FBI or the IRS or anybody else on this.
I would not support that, Gene. I would say, let's just leave it where it is. It's in the Funds for Grant account.
I don't agree.
Which
with
It
that.
is an
is in the
account.
funds for grant?
Yes, which
Well,
Okay.
is
let's
an
just not
account.
call it
Let's pick a
Embrace the
place for it.
Stream money anymore. Let's just leave it in that account, but
Now, I'm uncomfortable with this. I like to have crap correct, as does Pam. And I know that the rest of you do too. And so I think we need to maybe not approve this report yet until Pam and Jerry and maybe Keith can check with Central Colorado Conservancy, look at the checkbook, see what check was written to that, and correct it.
okay.
I mean, that's just me. And treasurer stuff is not my forte, but that's my logic.
Correct me
Pam?
if I'm wrong. Pam, haven't you and Keith and Jerry already have visited this issue, and we're where we're at now because you haven't figured it out?
We have had several discussions on it.
Well, I don't understand. I just,
Pam, do
know, again-
you think Jerry and you and I can get together in the
Yeah,
next several days?
Yeah,
And
we can get
I'd rather do
together.
it face to face so we can look at the books and talk about it together. I think Gene's real close to being accurate, that we spent some money from another account that probably should have been out of the Funds for Grants account. My concept of that was we raise money and we use it to support other grants like we've been doing for years. We support CCC. We support Boys and Girls Club, Garna. We have been supporting those out of, when they get a grant, we provide matching money. So I think the three of us just need to sit down and make sure we understand it individually. Then you can bring it back to the board.
Okay,
All
I'm up for that. Like I said, I've looked back at all our banking records. I've looked back at board minutes. I've looked at every angle I can think of. Our liabilities report shows when we incurred our liabilities and when we paid them. Now, I did make an adjustment for Embrace the Stream and the second $1,500 Gobelchek grant, both of which are earmarked for the ELC and no longer show them as liabilities. Knowing that we've settled with CTU with the report listing those dollars as paying for that grant. How we paid for it, where we paid for it, when we paid for it is the question. So I just made an adjustment to make the liability sheet say $2,000, because that's all we know that we're on the hook for now in grant support. But Keith, I'll send you and Jerry an email. We can meet. I'll show you what I've done. Like I said, I've looked at it for hours from all kinds of data sources. I just don't see those dollars going out of any of our accounts. It's still there. And if you feel like, and like you told me, we've settled with CCC on this, on that grant. We must have used the dollars some other way from other.
Pam, I think we're in good shape bookkeeping wise. I don't think we're missing many. All that we need to do is make sure that we're tracking it correctly. And if it came out of one account instead of another, we ferret that out and make an adjustment as necessary. I don't think that we need to worry about paying bills or liabilities or anything. And I think we should move to the second agenda item.
Yes,
And-
let's table this, a motion to approve the treasury report until Keith, Pam, and Jerry get together, figure this out, and then perhaps via email can email us all what your recommendation is for a vote. How's that sound? We're tabling this motion. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes for the two past meetings? Bill, you made such a motion. Do we have a second?
I second that.
All right,
Who was that, Larry?
good.
That was Larry.
Larry, that was Larry. Moving on, membership report.
We do have to vote. Rick, we do have to
Oh,
vote on that.
Anyone opposed? Well, we do it that way.
Good idea.
No opposition. We have
Thank you.
9 members present. We can't have 9 members present. We have 9. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
9.
6,
We have
7,
9.
8. We have 8 board members in the affirmative.
That's right.
Yeah,
Keith
this
is
is
on
the
voting
consent
board.
agenda.
Yes. I just wanted to make a comment and thank regarding the membership report. Thank Tom Arnott for his work and Eric. Y'all got those reports. Communication report, Tom Polka is not here yet. When he checks in, we can come back to that and ask if anyone has any questions on a very thorough and long report. I'm sure he might want to say something about that. All right, committee reports. We're moving on. Scholarships, that would be me. I have nothing to report. Nothing's changed from the last meeting. Advocacy. I believe we talked about the board, transportation board, rejecting the railroad's exemption. We all know about that. That was wonderful. Y'all got a letter from Jim Pitts from United States Forest Service reaching out to us to get a representative on their
Yes, that's why. we
Pro-
don't do this.
trying to dismantle the old Exall hydro dam, which I know nothing about. I'd like to learn a little more. I'd like to go out for a site visit whenever that happens. Jim McGannon has volunteered to be our representative, and if there's no other objection to that, he will be our representative. Anyone have a problem with that? Are we good there?
Make a motion to approve Jim.
Have a
Second,
motion approves, and it's seconded by Karen. Very good. Thanks, Jim, for doing that.
I have a
I
question, Rick.
want to, yes, sir.
With that, I can email Jim Pitts and copy you. Would that be acceptable?
That's perfect.
As accepting the.
As accepting the position,
all right.
yes.
I'll do
Good.
that. Thanks.
And would you keep us abreast of
Of course.
when y'all, your first meeting?
Yeah, maybe I could set up a field trip this spring for everybody to go look, because I need to know where it is too.
Yeah, I'd love to go.
Yeah, I've
I know
seen it
where
in the
you-
wintertime.
Keith
Jim,
knows.
did you, are you officially on their contacts list? Your contact information is part of their system?
Nope. I will be now, I guess.
Yes,
Yeah,
now.
I think you should make sure that happens because I was aware of this project about 3 years ago. And I said, I'm chapter president for CPCTU. Please keep us informed. This is a huge, great opportunity. I don't know where we'll find the money, but I mean, Foozes Creek would make a great little trout stream if you take out that dam, those two dams and the flume going down to the hydro plant. The building's really cool. I don't know what's gonna happen to that. But yeah,
And
we need to make sure we're involved with that project.
Yeah, I was over there several years ago. I know generally where it is, so I agree with you. And you bet I'll do that.
Fundraising letter. I think we covered this last, the March 2nd meeting. Nothing new to report here. This is something that will happen towards year end. I have nothing to report.
Karen, are you still
Uh,
dealing with Nestle or is it the new company that took over?
The old people are employed by the new company and I'm actually having lunch with them on Thursday.
So
I've
it's not
already
really
sent them
Nestle.
Keith's great booklet asking for money.
I have another question related to that. So Nestle's out of the picture now and another company took over, or did the county approve the permit?
The permit has not been reapproved yet. They're still in. The next meeting is April 20th.
What's the new company's name?
It's two companies. I think they're going by Blue Diamond or Blue Spot or something like that.
Okay, all right.
They'll get lots of money from them.
Uh, What's,
So Rick, people have gotten this agenda and they've been able to read all this committee stuff. Can we just see if there's questions about it? Do we have, maybe there's
Right.
volunteers on the,
I just asked one. I'd like to move on, but I'm concerned. Community so negative on Nestle, and we're looking to them for additional contributions this year.
so I disagree with
Have you
that.
thought about?
Yes, because I've been on those planning commission meetings and there are anywhere from 5 to 9 people involved. And if you go for the Jed Selby Planning Commission meeting, there were 90 people on that call. So there is a vocal group whose primary thing is plastics, not water, who is opposing the Nestle thing. And
Karen and I went to the original meetings on Nestle and there were 90 to 100 people there originally.
I was there
who
too,
opposed
Bill.
it.
And I was
Yeah,
very
there was-
skeptical at the beginning. So what will happen at the next meeting, they've been doing an economic study, not Nestle. I think Nestle's helping to pay for it, but the people were decided upon by the county commissioners on the cost benefits. I was actually interviewed for that. And they will be giving their report, I think, on the 20th, when the board is 1041 meets there. So.
Karen,
Hey,
I was in the email string about the woman, I can't remember her name, Nestle representative, who
Catherine.
wanted us to meet on site and you were gone. So I said I was available.
Right.
Is that still going to occur?
Yeah, but it's not till June, I don't think.
Was it that late? Oh, okay.
I think so.
I didn't want to miss a meeting I committed to.
Right. No, she knows. She knows that you're going and she'll let you know.
All right.
And I think there's some people from CCC and some of these other people wanting to come to the on-site thing.
Well, by the way, Keith and Karen, since I'm close to that area anyway, I may be available. I'd be glad to join you if that makes a
Okay.
difference.
I would too. Perhaps Karen or Keith could send out an email when that meeting is happening,
Okay.
notify the board.
Yep.
All right. Any other
Thank you.
fundraising questions?
Um,
Good. Moving on. Gene, anything new from the vets? I haven't gotten an email from Project Healing Waters for, oh my gosh, a whole week now, I think.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, you know the latest that I know. This one-on-one is what they're gonna start with. So it's nothing like we committed to doing in the past. It's one-on-one fishing, and I don't think
Gene,
anybody's.
did I read correctly? They're requiring some additional training for this phase now.
Yeah.
Did you do that? What does that involve?
No, I didn't do it.
I didn't either. but-
I registered in their system so that I could, stay involved, but, I wasn't planning on doing this, so I didn't take the training.
And Charlie Adams.
If you think we need to be doing something, I can talk to Charlie Adams and see what his take is on it. But it didn't seem like anybody was interested in doing the one-on-one.
Charlie's not a current member, by the way.
Oh, he didn't pay his dues?
Nope.
I don't remember sending him a letter. Did that just recently happen? He's
I
not on
don't
the
know, I
last.
just noticed he was
list.
expired on the last roster that Tom sent.
Okay,
Oh, well.
there's more, and there's liability forms to fill out. New.
Yeah, there's a lot more hoops to jump
Forms.
through than in the past.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought.
So my
Well,
recommendation
hopefully,
is
but,
that we wait for the dust to settle a little more till they get back to something that we're more used to. Everybody gets vaccinated. I don't think this is something we need to be involved with as a chapter at the moment.
I agree. Let's
I
let the
agree.
dust settle and
Let's
wait
move
till
on.
maybe we get back to the old ways, hopefully into summer.
Or
Maybe we'll-
something, more open than this.
Okay. Let's move on to education. I think we covered a lot of Stream Explorers. Keith, moving back to that, does anyone have any more questions on what's happening with the Stream Explorers?
I'll keep everybody posted by email on the
Okay,
stream. I don't think we need to go over anything else other than I would like to mention the Buena Vista Conservation Camp for sixth graders. We've done it, I don't know, 20 years or something, Karen. We've done
Yeah.
it every year for a long time.
30.
Because of the COVID last year, they didn't do it. So this year, it's double session. We do sixth graders in the morning and the seventh graders, which are last year's sixth graders, in the afternoon. So I'm looking for 8 people, 4 for each shift. That's a few more than we've had before. It's May 25th. It's in the Upper Meadow at 4 Mile Creek. And I'll keep everybody posted, but
okay,
keep in mind that I'm going to be recruiting more than normal for that one.
all right. May 25th, Keith will,
May 20. It's in the minutes or in the agenda.
It'll be in
it
the
is
minute.
May 25th, yes. So Keith will call for volunteers in an email as we get closer to that date. And CTU is having their youth conservation camp this year, which they did not do last year. It's going to be a little different. Karen, do you have anything to add on that?
No, as far as I know, Riley is a camper. They were giving spots to all the people who were approved last year. I think I heard they're moving to a new site, but I don't know what that is.
Yeah, they are. It's the same area though, upstream from Beaumont. Okay. Education, I think, have covered everything there. Old
Keith, is
business.
anybody taking pictures? I'm sorry, is anybody taking pictures?
Yeah, Jerry is pretty good at taking Stream Explorer pictures.
Okay,
I get them from him, and also the Garna folks do as well.
I got a bunch, yeah,
great, Kim.
that I'll send along. Yep.
Oh,
Thanks
yeah,
for
you were
having-
taking pictures too. Keep doing that, Kim.
I mean, I will.
I didn't get it. You
I
didn't see it.
didn't. Yeah, I was gonna say, I didn't yet get, I wanna, the Garna folks got pictures of the fry that we collected, which was kind of fun, but I did not get those, so I'm gonna make sure we follow up with that.
I
Great, we'd love-
I sent an email to Bianca asking her where are the pictures?
Like,
And I
we need
haven't heard
that.
back either. For you
Okay.
guys' information, in the bug collecting, we use a kick net and we always collect a lot of nice bugs. This year, we were on Cottonwood Creek, right above the lake in McPhellamy Park in BV, and we got shrimp looking things. And we were all looking, wondering, well, I've never seen that bug before. And it turns out they were just recently emerged trout fry with the egg sac still on them.
Yeah, so, I
It
mean,
was
it was
really
cool.
tiny.
Really
But what the debate is, what are they? Brown, brookies, rainbows, whitefish? I don't know. I don't know what kind they are. My guess is still browns, but doesn't seem like the timing's right for them. So I'm gonna send a picture to Greg Poliski and ask him.
That's
I've seen
cool.
the ground
It was
crossing out.
cool.
And Jerry sent 2 pictures today, emailed all of us, and I really enjoyed getting that. It's fun to see what's going on. So
Yeah,
Kim,
I'll send, I got a
yeah.
bunch. I just haven't sent them yet. We'll get them out.
send them down. Good. All righty, old business.
Before we get off of education, can I just throw one thing in? I had a
Yeah,
pretty
go.
long conversation with Belisky the other day while I was recycling stuff, and we talked about why the rainbow fry, the rainbow that we've been cutting the fins clips off of, and also the stonefly eggs that he
Terranarcis?
put into the river are not making it. And he was pretty convinced that there's heavy metals coming down out of Chalk Creek that are going into the river and causing both of those species to not be able to reproduce. And I wondered if there was any way we could do any sort of testing on Chalk Creek to find out if that was true.
We used to do that years ago. In fact, Dusty Yeager used to do that at Eberly, specifically on Chalk Creek below the Mary Murphy. And we sent it to the state. And as usual, the state never sends us anything back. So Barbara, whatever her name is, who's in charge of River Watch, would be the person to contact.
Well, I think, Riverwatch could sample, but we don't test the metals in our on-site lab. We have to send it in. So I don't know whether we get any better response sending it to the Riverwatch people or not. We don't test the South Arkansas except every 3rd month for metals. But I think we could definitely, pick up some samples and send them to Riverwatch and ask as an alternative to see what the metals levels are.
We should do that. That's concerning. Where is Riverwatch, the lab? Do you have any idea?
We send them to Denver, I think. Our lab is at AHRA. That's where we do our field work, and we do, titration tests and all that for everything except metals. And metals, we just send to them, send to the Riverwatch headquarters in Denver.
Back to Bill, which are we talking golden stones or the salmon fly stone?
You brought in about, I forget if it was 150,000 or 300,000 eggs from the upper Colorado for Terranarcis stoneflies, the big ones.
Oh, that planting years ago.
Well,
No, he
in
brought
the last
nymphs,
three
not
years or so.
eggs.
Pardon me?
In the last 3 or 4 years, and we still see a few of them. I see 2 or 3 of them every year, and I was convinced that there was a Terranarcis hatch back in the early 80s when I first got here, but he convinced me that I was wrong because it was only golden stones. And I thought, well, I've been fishing the Terranarcis hatch on the Gunny Gorge for at least 4 or 5 years, and I was pretty sure it was Terranarcis. And they were in Browns Canyon that I saw them. That was the only place I ever saw them. So maybe that was different from other places. But he was pretty convinced that we had never had a Terranarcis hatch here for, he was saying, decades.
You sure can't mistake a golden stone versus a salmon fly.
No.
Keith, do you need help with collecting samples? Will you handle that, or
I'll follow up on it and let you know if I need help collect. All you do is fill a little bottle up with a couple drops of acid in the water from the creek and then send it in. So it's not complicated. It's the lab analysis that is what we need to find.
okay?
Yeah, I did a water well analysis, and you send it to CSU, And, they have a basic metals package, but then some of the more unusual metals are a special test all by themselves. But that's
You
for
might-
water samples.
I think the extension office might be doing free water tests now. Probably well, but they're not going to know. So we might
No,
just.
I
get
think
a
that's
test.
for coliform bacteria. There's two separate tests. One is for bacteria and the other one is for metals and nitrogen and.
Well, we might
minerals.
check with them.
One
I
last
don't
question
think
to
they-
Bill. Was Greg concerned about the new Gunnison River rainbows being affected? Town?
Yeah, he was talking about both about the Hoffers that we released several years ago and that these Gunnison rainbows that we've been fin clipping, neither one of them have seemed to be able to procreate. And he said that both species, the stonefly and these rainbows, were very susceptible to heavy metals. And so he suspected that the younger fry weren't making it because of the heavy metals. And he thought they might be coming down out of Chalk Creek.
Okay. Is he familiar, is he aware that there's a slew of rainbows going up Badger Creek right now to spawn?
You know,
I
we
don't know.
never talked about that. I just told him that we were starting to see a lot more rainbows from Salida east down. He says, yeah, that's where we've been stalking them. So,
Right. I'd love to net a couple coming out after the spawning's done to find out what kind of rainbows those are, if they're Hoffers or the Gunnison Rivers. Hope they're
how
the
would
Gunnison
you how would you find out if they were Hoffers?
Well, if their fin wasn't clipped,
Did we fin clip Hoffers? I don't think so.
we didn't know.
No.
But if they had their fin, they would be
Well, we-
Hoffers.
If they're coming down out of a side stream, they could be regular rainbows because
Yeah.
again, the regular rainbows weren't actually affected by either whirling disease or heavy metals if they lived and started their lives up in the side streams.
Thanks for that piece of information.
Yeah, thank you. All right, moving on to old business. Karen, I think you put on the question, how did everyone like our last Zoom member meeting? And we had, according to Tom's communication report, he put the video of that meeting on and we had 22 views. That's pretty good, I think.
How many were at the meeting? Do we remember?
Or almost 30. I think Pam counted 28 or something.
That's
Yeah.
what I
And then I-
remember, 28.
And I think we had a couple spouses, like Patricia wasn't in the camera. I think we might have had a couple more. That was great. I think that's our best, by far our best Zoom meeting and one of our better meetings lately.
About what it was about? Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Now I know.
And hopefully we don't have to meet in 2 months at our next board meeting via Zoom. I would hope we could do it in person. See how that goes. That would be wonderful. Jason Willis asked us to send him a support letter for his project, his grant application, which he basically wrote. I amended it a little or added our 2 cents worth, sent that out earlier this afternoon. So you all have a copy of that. That went out March 21st. He was thankful for that. I haven't heard from him since. I don't have anything else to report about it. Next is events calendar. We don't have much on our website as far as events because we don't really have much. The next one will be instead of having a standard general meeting, we're going to meet at Highside Bar and Grill in Salida in the middle dining room, which is half outside, half inside, for a social get together. No business. Let's just all get together and see each other and maybe hug each other if we want, have a beer, have apps or dinner, which would all be on ourselves. We have a nice large room, which has a bar in it that they don't man, which 8 or 10 guys could sit at and gather around if we wanted to the guys want to get together, that the room has
Are
about
women not
seven.
allowed to sit there?
Women aren't allowed. No, you get the.
I was waiting for that one.
Yeah. So we have about 7 tables that are the high top. Like in the business, we call them the cronies. They're like bar stools. So you're kind of elevated up. They're more fun, more conducive to people walking up and visiting a little bit better because you're talking to each other instead of someone talking down to you because one person's sitting low while the other person's standing. So Angela, one of the 2 owners, has allowed us to use that middle room, 4 to 6. Their happy hour is 4 to 6, so their happy hour ends at 5. So we'll have an hour of reduced prices for apps and drinks. And if it's blowing or cold or too sunny, this is the perfect spot. They have 3 different areas. They have the indoor complete enclosed on the street side. They have the patio in the back. And then in the middle, they've got this curtained off with heaters, and you're sort of outside, but you're inside protected from the elements. So she initially didn't want to stay in that room, but I talked her into it. She's primarily concerned about people. The customers and staff need to walk through that room to put people out on the patio. So we'll just have to make a concerted effort to not block that main aisle where the traffic will be. And I think if the guys are kind of, you know, they could be with their wives at the tables, that's cool. But the bar is away from that corridor. So I think it will work out. I'll write something up in the May newsletter and we'll probably do a blast. I think we can get a lot of people. I bet I'd be surprised, disappointed if we couldn't get 40 people. Tell everyone, invite people, let's get everyone there. Let's hope we don't overwhelm them. I don't want to get bombard them, but I told them we'd probably get about 30 and now I'm thinking 40. What do y'all think?
So I have 2 comments. It's down in the agenda, but since you're talking about it, we don't have to do it later. I would encourage you to wear your name tags for people that we don't know. And should we put the sandwich sign outside just for a little more?
I'll bring it and I think I'll put it in the room. If we put it outside, you know, that kind of scares the public off. They walk up.
Okay, yeah, I get you.
Private function, and I know the owner won't like it, but I'll ask her if we can bring it and put it in our room. At least people will know where we are.
Or maybe out on the Riverwalk there. And what about name tags?
Well, I think that's a great idea. Let's, at least for the board, we should wear
mean,
ours.
Yeah, I know, but Eric
Gene,
won't
you
be
wanna-
there.
Well, I have the name tags.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Gene has them. What do you think, Gene?
Well, I haven't been keeping up with them since we haven't needed them, you know. Things change every month. People go on, people go off. And since we didn't need them, I didn't do anything. So I figured when we needed name tags, I'd get the current list and match them up with the name tags and make what we need. So if we're gonna need name tags, we'll just have to go through them and make new for the new members.
Well, or the other thing is just bring the ones you have. And if we have some paper that we can stick one in or, you know, stick on things and then just tell
No,
those.
but if
people-
I know somebody's a member, I can make the name tag. In fact, Monica makes
Right.
the main name tags.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe we just do it informal like everyone else does and just fill out your own name tag at a table as you enter the room. Stick it on
Well,
yourself.
that would be simpler because, you know, we have 300 members.
Yeah,
So I'll have 300 name tags, but if we're hoping 30 people show up, so half of that, those people are the people we know that have name
No.
tags
Well, no, most.
already. So
yeah.
might
I'd like
be
to write on
easier to
name
write
tag
'em
thing.
up.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
so if that's acceptable to the board, that would be easier.
Do you,
Yeah.
do you have the stick on, fill out your own name? Do we have any of those?
They don't stay on very well. I think we're better
Well,
off
Only 2 hours.
writing on. I'll do whatever you want to do, but you know, we can just write on a card and stick it in that thing and clip it on. it works.
We'll visit on that later then. Okay.
Okay, well, whatever you want to do.
Just do
Sorry to
this.
interrupt, but were you talking about the old River's Edge? Is that where you're talking about having it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the third or fourth evolution of ownership there. I highly recommend their burger. I've tried a few things on the menu. It's mainly sandwiches. The burger's outstanding over that.
so is the chicken sandwich.
Did you like the chicken sandwich?
Really good.
I ordered the Philly steak sandwich. I didn't care for that. There's another couple more. There's about a half dozen sandwiches and they have some apps. It's not a big menu. We went last Friday. It was happening. It was fun. And Karen and I, we sat down, had lunch with our spouses a week ago and out on the patio, and the patio is beautiful. It's nice, but I don't want to mess with the weather element, not know, if it's going to be a windy day or too hot day or whatever.
Rick,
okay.
I'd like to back up for a minute on adding events to the events calendar. Do you think we're far enough along with planning of our fishing derbies to put them on our calendar?
Yeah, I haven't,
I do.
ready to move on. I was going to talk about that. I'm glad you brought it up. Let's talk about some dates. So I definitely think we should put it on. We can always take it off. So I think the May 12th general meeting, it's already up. Then we have the 4th of July fishing derby. Do y'all feel like,
I have a question though. July 4th is Sunday. Do we do it Sunday or do we do it that Saturday?
That's a
I
good
think-
question. I would say that previous Saturday.
I'll shoot Ann an email.
yeah, let the committee decide that one. I don't have a strong opinion about it, but yeah. All right, so the next board meeting would be the 9th of June, 2 months from now. That we can get on the calendar. And following that would be the August 11th board meeting. Let me backtrack a little bit.
Yeah, help me here.
July could be so we have a general meeting, which is a social in May. 2 months, every other month would be July. Do we want to have a general membership meeting in July, or do we want to, it's summer, everyone's busy, should we blow that one off? Don't we usually not have
That's
a
correct.
middle of the summer? Okay,
We have not.
so that's what I was thinking. So nothing in July for general meeting. August is a board of director meeting.
Sometimes we've done a picnic then. August or September.
September, we have the September 20th, our annual Moonlight Pizza fundraising, which the first year we did it, it was like a social. We all moved tables together and we had 30 of us around each other. We could kind of call that our meeting if we want. What do y'all think? It'd be similar to what we're doing at High Side, another chance to get together and visit. I think I'd rather have a beer and visit with people than have a speaker sit down meeting again.
Well,
I
let's
shouldn't
see
say
how
that
the
for
one
a
at the
while.
high side goes.
I already know about a dozen people that don't come to our meetings that are going to be there for it. I bet it's going to be a good turnout. So, yeah. We could put the date on and to be decided for location.
So
No,
we're
no.
having a August
No.
board meeting?
August 11th is the board meeting, yes.
Okay.
And then we go to September, which is the Moonlight Pizza, call it what you want. Social or just a fundraiser.
Kind of bypass the 4th of July or the Labor Day fishing derby in BV.
No,
No, haven't gotten that far. I guess I skipped it, and Bill, I'm talking September for Moonlight Pizza. We have the Labor Day, yeah, into summer. So we can get that date on.
September 4th?
Yes.
And what's
So
the
there's
date of the
two-
Moonlight thing, Rick?
The 20th, September 20th. So we have 2 September events or functions.
And
And
do we
hopefully
put on
somewhere
those
in the
events
middle.
when they go out that we would need volunteers for the fishing derbies?
Yeah, you will need to, yeah, you can put that in the newsletter and your contact info, and I would start doing that in the, actually
August.
even in the July and August newsletters.
This letter.
Mhm. And Bob probably gave you a list of all the past volunteers, didn't he?
I believe you did somewhere. He
Margie
gave
probably has
me
another.
about 4 different things and sometimes I have a hard time figuring out what's where.
Okay, well, tell me
So
if you
at
need
least-
some help. But I
Yeah.
won't be here. I won't be there for that.
Call her if you need help, but she's not gonna be there, Bill.
Well, beforehand, organizing his folders or whatever, but sooner rather than later.
Bill,
If you
make
have a
yourself,
list of the volunteers, I'd appreciate it.
yeah,
Okay, I'll email Margie.
you might want to
Well, if
write.
you're gonna email her, I'll do, don't worry, then I'll do it.
Okay, yeah. I don't have a list of the volunteers.
So the August 1st newsletter, Bill, you might write a little short blimp about what we're doing, what we need for Tom Polka, get out. August 1st, then we can follow it up with the blast as we get closer. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dates, events to post on the calendar. I'll get with Tom Polka on those. And hopefully we get a Project Killing Waters somewhere in the middle to add to that. So, there's maybe 7 for the summer to start. Moving on, if there's nothing left on dates and events, we've got some work that Keith and Jim did on the president's job description, which was emailed out to everyone, and they made their comments, which hopefully y'all had a chance to take a look at. Are there any suggestions, anything they missed, any comments, anything we need to add to that? And thank you to the both of you for doing this. All you forgot to do was find a president. That's any suggestions? I thought it was good.
Yeah,
Took some out, added some things. I think it's fine. And if no one has any suggestions or comments, Karen?
there wasn't a final one, was there?
No,
Well, you would have to retype the things that were scratched out or added, so we would have to, yeah, that would be the final version if there's nothing else at this point. Jim, do you have any comments?
I would say, Karen, with your redlining, in addition to what I did, that's the final, so.
Is that okay?
would-
All right.
just
I
take
will,
it-
I'll do that and send it to you. And if it's kosher, then we'll send it to everybody else.
I
Makes
guess we
sense.
could do that. We'll just do a proofread after you type
Yeah.
it, sure. Okay,
Okay.
Jim, yours came in blue to me.
Right.
Is there any change in what you did and what Karen did? Same thing, document?
I don't know why it came in blue. All I did was send out a Word version with comments in the margin. So those comments in the margin were, there's several on there now, so you probably can't tell who's making the comments, but
All right.
I think the point is that when Karen saw those originally, she then made her comments and edits, and I quickly looked over before the meeting and looks good to me.
Well, thank you for that. I don't.
Basically, an update doesn't make it any less intimidating.
Yeah, that's the comment I've been making. I think it's all applicable, all correct, pretty well written, but it's not going to be a recruiting tool.
Well, and I'd say intimidating tongue in cheek. It specifies what the president does, and the way I see it is that person is the leader and does a hell of a lot of delegating.
Right, that's the key.
So, yeah, I'd say move forward with it, and
All right, do I have
I'll
a?
just look for what
motion to
Karen
accept
says.
this?
Rick,
Do we have
I'd
a
like to
motion?
make, if we're done with this, I'd like to make a suggestion on the new business. If in fact Tom Palka comes into the meeting, if we're supposed to vote on him being a outstanding volunteer, if that's what that list is intended for,
No.
it's not. Okay.
That's just a list of who was selected as outstanding volunteers, but at the CTU, by CTU. Those were the
All right.
awards over the years.
That's not for us. Okay, never mind.
I
It's
know
just
where you're,
for FYI.
you wanted to nominate him as our next president.
Well, if
since he's
that, oh, president, yeah, I know that won't happen.
All right.
We want
do we
to
have a-
leave him as communications director.
Yeah. Let me know when he joins us so we can go back to communications, please. Do we have a motion to accept the changes?
I move we accept the changes.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right. Anyone opposed? All right, so that's unanimous. Thank you again, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Fourth- New business, fourth quarter financials. Jerry reviewed what Pam put together and everything looked good to him. Does anyone have any problems, issues, questions?
I
with
thought
the
we
latest
addressed that
fourth
and we
quarter?
have to get it back together.
Well, this was fourth quarter.
That's, so was the other, wasn't
Under,
it?
well, I'm going with your agenda, number 4, new business.
Wasn't that under
talking-
the treasurer's report, though? Are they not one and the same?
They
By
are
your,
one in the,
Karen.
yeah, they
they-
are one and the same. So we don't have a motion to approve those. We're going to review
Okay.
them and
Yeah,
make
that makes
another
sense.
stab at it.
All right. Moving on then. Again, Tom Palka, outstanding. Love all our, we've gotten a lot of recognition from the state. That's unbelievable. Next
If
item,
you have any interest at all, but in 2013, I was actually CTU's Outstanding Guide and Exemplary Guide and Outfitter. I was awarded an award in 2013.
well, that's good to know. I did not, thanks for
Well,
bringing that, Bill,
That,
because it's
that's,
getting,
we can
that's-
believe that, Bill.
yeah.
I don't
Cool.
doubt it.
Congratulations on that, Bill.
Outstanding outfitter, is that what it was?
I think it was called the Exemplary Guide and Outfitter Award, the 2013 Exemplary Guide and Outfitter Award.
Good, I'll put that on my list. Great.
That's a-
I'd like to say something about Tom Palka. You know, he's an amazing guy, and I'm not sure our chapter would have functioned at all without him over the last few years. He was, his award from CTU was well deserved. Are we going to recognize him as a chapter? You know, I got a gift card for being president for a while. He's been our communication and webmaster guy for
Good
a
idea.
decade now. I don't know. I'm just bringing that up. Does he deserve a chapter acknowledgement as well? He will say it's not needed, it's not deserved and all that, but don't believe Tom.
I would
Well,
agree
that's
with
why I
that.
thought that's why I also thought his name was up there because, yeah, let's pile it on him.
All right.
So
So
ma-
should we do that at the end of the year when we normally do
At
that?
the year in
sort of thing?
review,
Yeah.
I,
Okay,
Good idea.
All right. And what do we want to give him?
ooh, but I can't put that in the minutes or he'll know.
Yes, okay. We never talked about this. Okay, in the minutes, Karen. Do we want to do $100 gift certificate like previous award winners have? Does that sound acceptable to everyone, $100 gift certificate, or
Yeah,
Any
Yeah,
other
to-
ideas?
Yeah,
good?
great, great.
Okay, all right. I think we covered the next item. Moving on is
All right,
4th
I'm
of
gonna
July.
put
and
that
Labor-
on my calendar to have somebody remember that for year in the review. Go
Okay.
ahead.
I think we covered the next one, so we can skip over that unless there's anything else for July and Labor Day fishing derbies. I'm kind of jumping around here. That was covered under events, so we, next one, Gene, you brought up monitudes. What's going on?
Well, I brought up earlier that I'm not really keeping up with that tube that's at Sands Lake. And during the summer, it probably needs to be emptied once a week because it fills up fast. And we need to recruit some more people to do this.
I agree. Let's recruit somebody other than Gene so he can have a break.
Doesn't Tom Palka help with that?
Yeah, he was suggesting.
Everything's kind of unofficial. There's been people that have emptied it, I'm sure, but it would be nice if during the season, if we're trying to keep that for tourists, it's going to take once a week because it fills up maybe 25% monofilament, 75% trash. And for the first time, I found used syringes in there.
Oh, great.
So
Didn't Tom suggest we get our teenage TU?
yeah, that's what he
involved.
suggested. Yeah.
Stream Explorers? Yeah.
No, our teen, what do we
Oh.
call them? The teens that got their free membership?
Oh, yeah, TU Teens.
Yeah, TU teens.
Do we have emails for that list of that group of
Some,
teenagers?
we have some. Yeah, we do. They're on
I'm a
Tom's
little-
roster.
I'm a little concerned if they're finding used syringes, in there and having the youth empty that out.
It's a good-
Well, this is the first time I found them.
I know, but if it's a possibility, it's something that's gonna repeat in the future. I don't,
Maybe they're coronavirus.
No, I didn't say COVID.
Maybe we can put that in the newsletter that we really need a cadre of, 4 or 5, some volunteers, and they can each take a week, a month, check it weekly. And if we should be able to get 4 or 5 people who would be willing to do it.
Okay, if we get some people who are interested in doing it and then come up with a schedule.
Right.
Dean, do you want to write something up for the next newsletter? Call for volunteers?
Okay,
Maybe direct it towards, well, never mind. We're dropping the kids. And then get back to us perhaps with how that response was, and maybe we each take a month for the summer. I'll do 4 weeks in a row, whatever. It'd be
well,
easier
let's see
than
who we
every
get.
other splitting it up. I go by there a lot, so I could do a month's worth.
So empty
thank-
week-
Okay, sounds like you're in.
All right, Gene, to write a newsletter.
Okay. That'll
call for
come out in the main
volunteers.
newsletter.
All right. Next item is May and future programs, which we have covered. Let me look at my notes here.
So
Okay,
is,
we
I
covered
guess
it.
here's my question. So we understand about COVID and getting together and things getting back to normal and all that. Are we ever going to get back to a quote formal meeting presenter type of thing? Or should we say, starting in 2022, since we've already got stuff through September, board meeting October, year in review in November, what are your all's thoughts?
Well, we'll have two get-togethers in person with the May and the September for general membership.
But you're saying those are purely social. There's no announcements, no encouragement to get involved with any other activities or CTU activities or present any information. I don't know.
I think we got your
Your
newsletter.
review, wouldn't that be a good time to do it in person?
What's that, Bill?
I said the November year in review, wouldn't that be a good time to do an in-person?
I agree.
Yes. And maybe what we could do prior to that, and you might get 10 responses, I don't know. It just tell people to send us ideas about what kinds of programs they want to hear. What do you want to hear about? Maybe we could actually have our new guy come to the year in review to meet some people. I don't know. It's a challenge.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Well, we don't have to have a whole year planned, but
But announcing and as you point out, what CTU is doing, I think we covered that really well in the newsletter. And the newsletter gets a great open rate, about 40%. So is wants to know what's going on. They're reading the newsletter and there's a lot of information in it.
okay.
The best programs that we've had for attendance have been where we've had a good speaker like Stuart Andrews. I think that the same is true with the Pikes Peak chapter. They invite me to all their stuff and their speakers are always the best attended if they have a good speaker. So I think that's the effort that should be made, is to find outstanding speakers. And I would love to go back in person, whether that's at the end of this year or the beginning of next.
I know the Fly Gals are doing a Euro nymphing class, but a presentation on Euro nymphing would be a good one. You know, if you can have somebody who's really done it, or, you know,
Do a Riverside demo.
doesn't have to be Riverside. I'm sure they'd have a video or something. I mean, Streamside would be nice if we could, but
Well, let's bring the subject up again at a future meeting as
Okay.
we kind of know where we're going with meeting in person.
Hey, Rick, I gotta leave in about 10 minutes.
I think we're almost at the end. Karen, this next one is your forte or your subject, reaching out to Fly Shop.
my
Want to
pet peeve.
cover any of that?
It's my pet peeve.
I know, we can't get the guides involved.
Right. So the Next Eddie owners belong, and Preston and Nathan Larimer and Rob Whitman from Arc Anglers and Bill Dvorak. Those are the only people. And Stuart told me once, it's, oh yeah, I do need to rejoin, but I don't know if,
So why does a guide have to pay more than a regular member?
I don't know.
Maybe that's why they
Start by
don't.
just giving some coupons to the fly shops that are members to give to their guides for a 1-year trial membership. And once they get involved, they talk to other guides. They might encourage other guides to do it.
Well, when I emailed Walt at National, you know, he said, you know, maybe try to give him a free membership, or the chapter pays for part of it, you know, for a year. But so Arc Anglers and Bill, you as a business member, you get like 20 memberships to give to people, right? To your clients or your guides. That's supposed to be one of the deals. And I don't know if they do the same thing for a comp business member, which Arc Anglers is. They are not a paid member because they donate $1,000 worth of gear trips to chapters over a year.
Bill, do you get a bunch of free memberships to give away?
Whole box of stuff, and I keep the hat and a couple of stickers. And that's it. I don't look at much of the rest of it, to be real honest.
But are you aware that you can Is this true that a business, and a membership can give 20 free memberships?
I did not realize.
That
this.
is
I didn't
correct. It's on the TU website.
Really?
realize that, and I've been a business membership for years.
Well, then,
Well, maybe you should tell Walt you want your 20 coupons for guides and we'll give them to others people. I
Walt
don't
is
know.
an old friend of mine. I'm sure I can do that.
Will
right,
you
let us-
check into that? And
I'll call him and ask him.
And then maybe we can write a nice letter, or maybe you can as another fishing outfitter, say, we want you to, join us to help protect our river and help protect your livelihood. I don't know. We can craft something.
Well, if that's the case, then we wouldn't need to give out free memberships to guides. The first 20. I wonder if the ARC would get the same deal with them being more of a trade, ARC anglers being more of a,
Yeah, that's what I don't know.
Non-paying.
Right.
I'll
I have,
ask.
I have approached ARC anglers multiple times, many times over the last 3 or 4 years, even sending Braden an email with some instructions as to what we wanted from guide members. If there was some incentive there, maybe that would make a difference, with a free membership or a trial membership, because I got 0 response. Nobody followed up, nobody asked a question or anything. And I've done this 3 or 4 times anyway with ARC anglers. Braden's a good guy. He is one of the owners now, but I don't know how to encourage those guys to join. They should want to join, but obviously they don't.
I know.
But it's not just us. I mean, Taylor Edrington, Rural Gorge Anglers, they don't belong either. Greg is not a member anymore. He used to be. Greg Felt.
Oh, great, Phil.
He has a few things on his plate, though.
Just
I'm
a
gonna,
couple, yeah.
Oh,
all right.
so Kim, okay. Do you have any input on that?
Well, I was gonna say, I'm actually going to get to be a guide this summer for ARC anglers, but I don't know. Knowing my ex was a guide and a member, but he let his membership lapse for a variety of reasons. But I think that finding that, what is the benefit as a guide to being a member of TU? And I don't know that I know the answer off the top of my head, or what the right benefit would be that would make them interested in joining. Like, I'd have to ponder that a little bit.
So if you see
So the
Preston,
benefit is that
maybe
we're protecting the resource they make their living on.
Exactly.
I get that, but knowing some of the guides, not that that's not important to them, it's not the reason they guide, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they aren't a real conservationist. They're
Correct.
a capitalist,
They're correct.
an outdoor capitalist.
And I know, again, X in particular, like, he struggled with a number of things with the group in terms of he wanted different perks of being a member that he didn't want to put in the time to help, in terms of things on the weekends, that more educational stuff on the weekends, or different things that he wasn't feeling he was getting. And I don't want to
Do
speak
you
for
ever tell us, though? If we don't know what it is, we
well,
can't.
and I'd have to look back, and that was my frustration with him in particular, because I'm like, well, then get involved and do something. And that didn't happen. But finding that those activities, events, whatever, because I would say that a lot of them, they're in it for the business reasons and not necessarily always for the conservation aspects. That the river isn't important to them, but it's different. I think some of them view it differently, or they don't see the conservation piece of why the health of the river is important, and not that they don't do that, but it's not their focus necessarily of their time on the river. And that's not all guides. That's, some guides.
But again, I think I'm a pretty good example. I mean, I'm so busy in the summer, I can very rarely do anything to help TU. So that's why I've opted to try to do things in the fall or in the off season. But guides are the same way. I mean, I know guides that are actually guiding on the water. Some of my guides, probably 90, 110 days in the summer. And
Yep.
for them to get a
All
day
day.
off is just exceptional.
Yeah, all day, every day, and to find that thing that is the benefit or the perk that makes sense for them is, I don't, in this moment off the top of my head, I don't know what that is or what that looks like, but something to think about.
That's good. That's good input. Yeah. Is Travis Anderson a Arc Angler guide? Do you know him?
I think, yes, and I think he's the guy that's doing the Euro nymphing.
You're on nymphing.
I think he's an arc angler guy, yes.
So maybe that could be a little in any of their guides who do something like that, like he or Stuart, maybe we give them a complimentary membership.
Yep, so something, although I know we're paying Travis, he's not doing it for free.
Boy,
So there's a balance there, right?
Okay.
But
good to know.
I think that there are some partnerships there, and whether it's, fly tying and providing, tonight we're tying a hare's ear, and so here's the materials, we'll sit down and do it together, and, purchase items from the next Eddie, and we all, whatever that looks like, and finding those activities of interest to both parties. And I don't have the answer at this moment, but I think that it's worth pursuing because they're
Okay.
I think Kim should be our mole in Arc Anglers. I don't think she has to wear a wire or anything, but keep your ears open and maybe lead some leading questions or something.
Deal.
Yeah,
I'm pretty good at that, so
Great.
I'll see what I can put
Nope.
together and figure out. So
Thank
Don't
you.
wear
Thank you.
your CP hat. To
Rick, I gotta.
Yeah,
take off, Sorry, I gotta take off.
Jim,
Rick.
thank you for
Bye,
your
Jim.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Night.
Uh,
One
all
last
right.
thing, I mean, the thing that incentivizes my guides is they get pro deals through us because we're an outfitter. And that's probably the biggest thing that they utilize is they can buy, Umpqua equipment or,
Fish pond or Reddington.
anything basically in the fishing, or it was whatever, it doesn't matter. We have pro deals on all that stuff.
But they get that through Arc Anglers anyway. They don't have to belong to TU to do that.
That's what I'm saying. Is that, I don't know.
No, Bill's talking about getting it, his guys getting those deals for working for Bill, his guys, if I understood that correctly.
Right.
Okay, anything else on this subject? I'm gonna skip the highway cleanup, just hoping Tom Palka shows up. That was his agenda item, and he's not with us yet. Pop-up tent, anyone have a problem loaning our local pickleball club our tent for a tournament that happens for a couple days in September?
Karen, do you mean those canopies, just open-sided canopy?
Yeah, the thing, I think,
Yeah.
well, we had one donated to us that I gave to the chapter there.
Yeah, I think it's in the shed. I've got an 8x8 that I loan you.
All right, thank you. We might need more than that. Thank you, Keith. All right, thanks, you guys. I appreciate that.
Okay. Back, our last item, then moving backwards to the highway cleanup. Anyone have any feeling about that? I know that we did that for years. And Jim and Para led that for a long time. And we kind of had a problem with doing it. It wasn't part of our mission, the reason we ended it. Do we want to bring that back? Or would we rather spend our time cleaning up on the river at any time when AHRA does it, or anytime we feel like volunteering to do a river cleanup? Any thoughts?
Rick, I would not vote to bring that back. It's still not part of our mission. And, the river cleanup in May is fun. I think we had some volunteers from the chapter do that. But that particular highway cleanup, while it was a popular event, we voted it out as not being mission related. So I would not vote to bring it back.
Does anyone want to do it?
I would do it because I know there's a hell of a lot of trash east of Salida along the river. You know, people thought, oh, these people are too old, it's too dangerous. You know, you don't feel good, you don't go down there, but there's a lot of places that aren't dangerous.
Are you talking about Highway 285?
Highway
Or
50 that's the part I'm talking about right now. That's the trashiest part.
what part of 50 are you talking about? That's not where we worked
No,
a
it's not.
mile here
It's
on the
not.
285.
285 now.
As I recall, it started out very popular, but Jim Impara was running it, complained in the last few years about no one really making the commitment. And I think that's when we brought it up. Well, do we want to keep doing this? And is this mission related? And I don't think it is. And I think a river cleanup is much better. And we've got a lot of other organizations that can participate and help and organize that. We can just be a component. So I wouldn't recommend bringing the highway cleanup back. That's CDOT. That doesn't have anything to do with the river.
All right, so no one's spoken up to do it, and I'm also in agreement with y'all. So we'll put that one to bed, and let's concentrate on river cleanup. Do we want to join forces then with AHRA on the 15th of May? Write something up in the newsletter, call for volunteers, and coordinate them on how to do that?
Yeah, I think that's a
Sounds
much
good.
better idea.
Okay. I can contact, you know who's in charge of that
Just call the office.
office? All right, I'll call the office, get some information, write something up, and we'll have a call for volunteers in the May 1 newsletter. And that is it, everyone. Local fishing report by you, Karen. That's the last thing you put on. And Jean, you covered that for the month.
Yeah.
Hey, how about,
Nobody else
That
have a report?
I think that's the big rainbow that lives at the outlet of Sands Lake.
That's what I think. Yeah.
I'm
there's a
serious.
big rate.
Hey, Gene,
Yeah,
can you send me that photo again? Because the photo I got, all I could see was a net. I couldn't see a fish.
geez.
Well, the fish is there.
I
Do-
couldn't
do
see it. I
we
thought
need
I
to-
saw one little fin, but that was it.
Ah,
Well, Reed's been
Okay,
out a
I'll
couple
send it
times. It
again.
hasn't done any good.
we need to have a fishing contest. Who caught the biggest fish out of the Arkansas in the year 2021? And you have to post your picture. So now you got to beat Gene's. He's set the bar, but you got to
Yeah.
measure it. We got to know
Well,
what.
see, I
what-
caught bigger ones, but there
How
was
big it
nobody
is.
there to take a picture.
I know it's hard to tell. The fish get away when you're got the selfie thing going. We could have an award at the year-end review meeting or a gift certificate or something. I don't know. But keep them coming. That was good.
We,
I
what we
caught
did
about,
do at one chapter meeting decades ago is we had a contest to guess how long a fish was. We held up a replica or something of a fish and you had to guess.
you know
how
what?
long it was. Margie won.
Yeah, that would be a fun thing for the any meeting. Put your name and what you think and that way we'll know who the liars are in the club, who doesn't know how to measure. Yeah, that's 18 inches. No, it was 13. I'm sorry. Who was that? Oh,
Really, yeah. something
embarrass all of us. I went out Monday in the backyard, caught about a dozen.
Oh.
Blue wings are coming off heavy here,
Not up here.
2 to 3 o'clock every day, and they're up at the top gulping. And before that, they're just under the surface taking emergers. I think the largest I caught was 14. They're all 13, 12, but yeah, all healthy. In fact, I did catch a small one, about an 8-inch. I don't catch slot size too often, but they're sure coming out of the winter. The ones I'm catching healthy and strong and weighty. you know, 13-inch wasn't a skinny fish. Had some weight on, but with these clouds, these couple days here, get out and go. I went down to the river today, it's just counting them rising. I didn't gear up.
What were they
All right.
eating for you?
All browns?
Hmm?
All browns?
All browns. We rarely catch a rainbow. I rarely catch a rainbow. I might catch one rainbow all year in our section. Tom or not is about a quarter mile south of me. And he has really, really good holding water. And fish congregate down there. I have big pools. Fish leave the pools on my property and they're gone. And I don't like fishing actually. Pretty soon here, those fish will be gone and they're there. And he'll catch rainbows. He'll catch maybe one or two out of 10. Will be rainbows. I'll get one of these and biggest fish I catch all year will be a 20-inch rainbow back there. And him too, he's catching 16, 17 fish regularly. And I haven't, I've seen them, but I don't know. We're not hooking up. I'm getting the little guys.
So just
Anyway,
Are we having a June board meeting or anything? Nothing in June? I don't think I wrote,
June 9th.
June
Yes,
9th we are? Where am I?
that's the next, this is April. So 2 months from now is June 9th, second Wednesday.
Okay, I
Or-
might have to have somebody take minutes because I'm gonna be in Wyoming, but I don't know if I'll have Wi-Fi yet. Okay.
Where are you going?
We're going up to Elk Lake Lodge. But we're gonna go to Tetons to look for wildlife before that. So I might have some Wi-Fi somewhere.
We'll visit on that later. Okay,
we will.
do I have a motion to adjourn? Anything else? Any other
Thank you,
business?
Rick. Thank you, everybody.
We didn't get Tom's. What about Tom? Karen, I wondered, did you send that new link to Tom?
Yep, I sent it to everybody on my
Okay.
list.
Okay, I guess his meeting went longer, so we didn't hear from him.
Okay.
So
No,
we're not gonna cover the communication report or yeah,
Well, that was all pretty clear. It's good.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. All right,
All right.
everyone.
Okay, thank
All right.
you.
Good night.
thank you.
Good night, everyone.